Welcome to episode 6 of Fly With Me. Yellow Emperor is considered one of the earliest ancestors of the Chinese people. In this episode, I will present to you an ancient and legendary story about Yellow Emperor. Legend has it that over 4,000 years ago, there was a great figure in the Chinese history, the Yellow Emperor. Not only did he pacify internal wars, but he also led the Chinese people to create writing, calendars, medicine, textiles, and transportation, transforming their primitive and barbaric lives into a stable and organized society. Grateful for Yellow Emperor's contributions, people created many unique and fascinating myths about him. In these stories, Yellow Emperor is not portrayed as an ordinary human, but rather as a great celestial being. Even today, Chinese people often refer to themselves as descendants of the Yellow Emperor with pride. Are you curious about what the mythical Yellow Emperor looks like? Let me tell you. Yellow Emperor originally resided in the high heavens, but he also had a magnificent palace on Mount Kunlun. This way, he could descend from the sky riding a shining golden dragon at any time and reside in the Kunlun Palace to observe if there were any disasters in the human world. At that time, different gods governed the east, west, south, and north of China. In the south, there was a great god named Yandi. Among Yandi's descendants, there was one named Chiyu, who had a peculiar appearance. He had horns on his head, seemingly made of copper or iron, fierce eyes, and hair around his ears, standing up like swords. Chiyu usually ate sand, stones, and iron as his food. When he got angry and roared, even lions and tigers would be frightened and faint. Chiyu had a bad temper and loved to wage war. One day, he led his army to attack the castle of his great-grandfather, Yanди. Yandi, being old, couldn't defeat the savage Chiyu and fled to the north to Zhuolu. However, Chiyu pursued him all the way to Zhuolu. At this moment, Yellow Emperor stood on the summit of Mount Kunlun, leaning against jade railings, observing the situation in the human world. Oh no! How did the once peaceful and beautiful world become a vast expanse of rolling yellow sand? It turned out there was a severe war in Zhuolu, so Yellow Emperor quickly rode his golden dragon to fly off. Yellow Emperor said to Chiyu, the ox-headed man, "You ugly and evil creature, how can you attack your own great-grandfather?" Chiyu snarled and said, "So what if I attack my great-grandfather? I'll attack you too." Yellow Emperor angrily said, "It seems that unless I eliminate Chiyu, there won't be peace on earth. Alright, let's fight." Thus, Yellow Emperor and Chiyu became an earth-shattering war. Yellow Emperor first summoned a bunch of fierce beasts like tigers and black bears to attack Chiyu's army. However, Chiyu and his monsters were not afraid of wild animals. They let out terrifying roars, causing Yellow Emperor's beasts to lose courage and scatter. What to do now? Yellow Emperor then sought the help of his daughter, Nuba. Nuba's pockets were filled with hot air, and wherever she walked, even iron would melt. Chiyu's army couldn't stand the heat, so they used some kind of magic to create a thick fog, covering the battlefield. At the same time, Chiyu brought a group of giants, led by someone named Kwafu, charging through the fog. Trapped in the white fog, Yellow Emperor and his army couldn't distinguish east from west, north from south. They could only see Chiyu with his horns and the towering Kwafu appearing on the left and then on the right, making it impossible to resist. When Yellow Emperor was in distress, he noticed that his minister, an old man named Feng Hou, was squinting his eyes and leaning on the chariot, seemingly dozing off. Anxiously, Yellow Emperor exclaimed, "Hey, Feng Hou, the situation is so critical. How can you be napping at a time like this?" Feng Hou raised his hand, speaking slowly. "I'm not napping. I'm thinking of a way to find the right direction to escape from this dense fog." Yellow Emperor replied, "Take your time and think. I'm going to seek reinforcements." Could Yellow Emperor defeat Chiyu? What would be Chiyu's fate? Subscribe to Fly With Me to find out. Through our podcast, you will not only learn about traditional Chinese culture and fairy tales, but also experience the cultural charm across different languages. Let's soar together and explore the mysteries of Chinese culture.